Hello, I'm Retro, and you gotta love the 5th generation of video games. Not only that the third dimension has been implemented to many video games, and that the competition between the video game machine companies were at an all-time high, but also old video game series were starting to become new, and new video game series were starting their roots in this generation. One great example of this is Crash Bandicoot, and I have it right here. Oh, my bad. One great example of this is Spyro the Dragon, and I have it right here.
Spyro the Dragon is a three-dimensional platforming game developed by Insomniac Games, who at the time made Disruptor, and the game was published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation on September 9th for North America and in October for Europe in 1998, along with a PlayStation Store re-release on December 12, 2012. Spyro was first unveiled at the 1998 E3 convention in Atlanta, Georgia, and the game was at a press party in Las Vegas to show games suited to a younger demographic for the PlayStation. There was even an advertisement campaign on television starring a character, Toasty the Sheep, from the video game, protesting against the assault of sheep from the main character. There's even a promotional website alongside it called sheepagainstspyro.com. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. The game sold slowly, but it grew to a total of 4,832,145 copies.
Well, that's very specific.
It would make it the 18th most successful PlayStation game. There's also a demo for the game Crash Bandicoot Warp inside the game. Of course, you would know that if you read the manual, but who reads them?
With that out of the way, let's play the game.
The game starts off with an interview with a pair of dragons discussing about the character Gnasty Gnorc. Suddenly, one of them starts talking smack about him while Gnasty was watching.
Vampire! He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly!
Shots fired! But be honest, your name is Gnasty with a G in the front, so obviously people are going to be calling you ugly.
Gnasty doesn't take the insults lightly, so he turned all the dragons into crystal. Besides Spyro, of course. It's now up to Spyro to save the Dragon Kingdom. So, how do you free a dragon? Just get on the platform, that's all. Sometimes they can tell you good information on how to play the game or secrets, and other times...
Thank you for releasing me!
Just that.
Well, that was helpful.
There are 5 homeworlds: Artisans, Peacekeepers, Magic Crafters, Beastmakers, and Dreamweavers. And each world has a different objective in order to move on to the next homeworld. Each homeworld also has a boss fight stage where you defeat the boss, and a speedway where you fly around destroying all 4 sets of items. The levels get increasingly harder after the other, with the last ones being as tough as deciding which game to review next.
I can't decide.
Playing the game, you charge, flame, and glide throughout the game. Gliding can be very useful and rewarding, but sometimes it can be difficult. Hitting the select button would open up the inventory, showing you what you collected and what you missed. In order to leave a level is by making it to the finish point, or just straight up quit the stage. That doesn't seem right, but there is a lot of backtracking in some of the levels, so I guess it makes sense. Many levels are more about exploration, and while you can make it from start to finish, you need to explore places in order to fully complete the game. The first homeworld is Artisans, where you learn most of the basics of the game in the world and the levels. Most of the levels are pretty short from start to finish. Collecting enough of dragons here would make you be able to go to Peacekeepers. Peacekeepers, a world with a lot of treasure. Treasure can be found on the ground, from enemies, baskets, whatever these are, chests, fireworks, and these propellers, where if you spin them enough, they would break, with the spinner falling forwards. This can make some pretty sick shots. Collecting enough of treasure will make you go to magic crafters. Magic crafters, you need 5 eggs to move on to beastmakers. There are 12 eggs in total, with them scattered throughout the first 3 homeworlds. The eggs are captured by blue thieves, so you have to chase them down in order to collect 1. The third world, Balloonist, can even take you to a thief if you still don't have enough eggs. After collecting enough of eggs, you make it to Beastmakers. Beastmakers are in the swamp where Gnasty's minions overtake it to build electrical equipment. There are 2 levels that I have to point out in here. Treetops, where you have to use supercharged tracks, navigate from tree to tree, and by far the hardest secret is getting to that tree. How do you do it? By doing lots of parkour. And then there's Misty Bog, which to me is the hardest enemies in the game. Like, how are you supposed to go through this without getting hit? And there's a lot of it in here. Holy cow, how many enemies do you need? After going through that hassle, you go to Magic Weavers, where fairies and their ridiculous behaviors live. They are pretty hard. In total, you need at least 50 dragons, 6,000 treasure, and 5 eggs to get to the last world, Gnasty's world, where you are against the hardest levels. It's time to get to the final world. Wait, that's it? So much for a world, it seems more like an island. Whatever. You have to get to the end of the 2 levels before confronting Gnasty. First level is a bomb warehouse. Not too hard, but it can be challenging. Then there's an army base, and oh shoot, they really want to get rid of you. Guns and bombs all the time. There isn't even enough of regeneration butterflies to make up for the amount of damage taken. With those 2 levels out of the way, it's time to beat Gnasty Gnorc. Oh boy. First, you're in an arena where you have to chase a key thief to unlock another key thief to unlock the gate to Gnasty, and he runs. Great. What a coward, as if being ugly wasn't your only downside. After running to him, you flame him, and he's running again. This time, you have platforms that slowly closes up, and if you're not fast enough, you're dead. Alright, time to battle. Wait, that's it? Jeez, maybe that dragon is right about you. Well, that's the final boss fight, but there's still one more thing.
Gnasty's ancient history now. So, what's in there?
I believe this is Gnasty's treasure hoard. But the gate will not open until you have found everything in the Dragon Kingdom. Come back when you have reached 100%.
In order to 100% the game, you need 80 dragons, 12,000 treasure, and 12 eggs. And when you do that, you unlock the final level, Dynasty Salute. In it, you have the ability to fly, and you chase thieves to unlock doors to higher floors for flying. There's a lot of treasure, and the best part is near the exit, where you go to a room full of fireworks. There's a total of 2,000 treasure in this level, and by collecting it all, you get to the true ending, where Spyro gets an interview.
And I felt that Gnasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent.
Oh, come on, Gnasty, that was good criticism.
Speaking of criticism, it's time to talk about the rating of the game.
The story is pretty basic, but it gets the job done with explaining what's going on. The gameplay is sleek and enjoying. I enjoy the music inside the game, and it's all being composed by Stuart Copeland, the former drummer for the rock band The Police. I also enjoy the graphics and how much is packed into the game. The difficulty of this game, while being very agonizing sometimes, is pretty moderate for the most part. I find some of the enemies to be extremely difficult to kill, but I like the variety of enemies in the game, even if most can be killed by the same 2 attacks. And they sometimes have fun interactions with each other, so look out for those while you find them. Overall, the final score for this game is an 88%.
I think the game is enjoyable. Not the best Spyro game, but it's a really great start. And probably one of the most successful Spyro games as well. And if it's successful in the 5th generation, that needs sequels. The heck? That's not Spyro. That's Crash Bandicoot.